On this week's edition of Things We Don't See That Often, we have a Casablanca Victorian from July of 1990. It uses a Samsung motor, antique brass, recalled hang true, although the ball is not that deformed, so it's sitting in it pretty safely. Walnut blades, which have a semi-gloss to them, which is unusual considering that walnut was either matte or high gloss, not semi-gloss. A little bit of dust there, but here we go. Look at that semi-gloss. Oh, and another thing. It's 3-speed. Yeah, I don't see those very often. There we go. Yeah. Do not see these very often at all. CB2444D. Yeah. And here we have your nicely recalled hang true, but again, notice the ball is not that protrusive, which is the way you want it to be, because if it's protruding, you got a problem. But yeah, this is a 3-speed Victorian, which is interesting. Victorians in general were either slumber quiet, variable speed, or IntelliTouch. 3-speed, those are not, they don't surface that often. For the most part, 3-speed fans were available briefly in the late 80s, between I think like 86 through 88. I think possibly 89 as well. This one's from 1990. It's a bit late for 3-speed because the 1990 catalog lists the Victorian as IntelliTouch only. So this one's a little weird. My theory is that it may have been an exclusive deal at some lighting store chain or maybe Home Depot or something like that. Okay. Because again, the catalog only lists this as being IntelliTouch. And also the semi-gloss blades are a bit weird, so it was probably a Home Depot exclusive or something to that effect. When I got this fan, the flywheel was dicked. It was halfway broken. Alright. Which is kind of unfortunate because it was actually a replacement flywheel. This fan had been opened up in the past. And the blade irons show just a little bit of scarring from when the irons started rubbing against the top of the switch housing, but yeah. So the replacement flywheel failed. Had to put on a new one. So I had an old Fanimation flywheel from a parts motor hanging around. Put that on. Yeah, a bit better. The spokes for Fanimation flywheels are thicker than that of Casablanca's. Also, the rubber is a bit floppier. As you can see, floppy rubber lasts longer because it's more resilient when it comes to flexing. It's good. As you can see, the blades are still point tip. 1990 was the year when they switched to the rounded tips. Anyway, let's see how it does. Starting on low. This fan is actually in pretty good shape. My theory is that it was in a living room or some clean environment for its entire life. There's no tarnish or anything, although some of the lacquer on the top and bottom blades and switch housing, it's starting to yellow or discolor slightly. You can see the canopy is a bit different from the rest of it as well. That's just age, possibly due to UV exposure. Yeah, Casablanca, their lacquers are weird. Like mid-80s Casas, like in 85, they used a lacquer that kind of turned greenish over time. Early 80s and late 70s Casas used a lacquer that turned dark, really dark over time. And then still, some used a kind of lacquer that turned yellowish or grayish. Yeah, I call it patina. Like I said, the fan uses a Samsung motor, not an Emerson K55. It has a loose black box capacitor instead of a board. That's interesting because it makes it easier to disassemble when you need to replace the flywheel, because you can just snip two wires, and then you can just splice them back together. Simple as that. Instead of having to rip the board out and all this, it's simple. Now let's go to medium. Thick. I think this fan may have had a light kit on it originally, although not a Casablanca light kit, since the light kit pull chain hole is still, plugged. I mean, it may have been a Casa light with an included pull chain, but chances are it was something off-brand. Not a high. I don't know why Casablanca went with the low, medium, high speed sequence. It's kind of silly in my opinion, but at the same time it makes Casablanca neat. And even in the age of Hunter Blanca, they're still doing it in the reverse sequence. The fan has a little bit of wobble. This could have been from it sitting at Habicrap, with its blades attached. And one of the blades looks like it's slightly up, and one of the blades looks like it's slightly down, but it's kind of average, I want to say. It's nothing terrible. But yeah, the fan flies, as it should. And the Fanimation flywheel should last a bit longer than the previous one. So and now we let it coast. Actually, no, we're gonna reverse it, because why the hell not? Can't do so easily with an IT fan. Well, I mean, you can, it's just you have to go to the wall, not the fan itself. The motor has a slight running whine, high pitch. Which is kind of how Samsung motors are. They have a medium high-pitched whine to them. And the bearings are pretty good too. This fan definitely saw a service center when the flywheel failed, because it looks like the bearings may have been greased and this and that. So I do like it when people take care of their fans. I do love the semi-gloss. And there you have it, a 3-speed Casablanca Victorian from 1990.